Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be back, like live with you. I usually go live on Instagram, but I haven't really sat down and recorded for the podcast. So that's what I'm going to do. I have my blanket, I have my water. This is a great time for you to go get some water. And I am going to be doing a series of episodes around asking or answering rather your questions. And so if you are listening to this and you have a question that I didn't answer, or maybe I asked something similar, but you have a unique situation, I invite you to give me your questions and I will answer it on a future episode. You can let me know on Instagram, or you can email us at contact@marvettelacy.com. I'll put all the information in the show notes. But I just want to be more of a service. Y'all have such important goals. We have so much uncertainty in the world right now. And a lot of you, just like a lot of the students inside of the Finish Your Dissertation Institute, have like a increased sense of urgency around finishing, but you might be stuck. There might be some things that you need a little bit more information on, some motivation, a pep talk, whatever that might be. Please send me your questions and I'll work with my team to get a more formal process, because I'm sure they are listening to this and being like, girl, here you go, going rogue again. We need a system. So we will have that in the show notes when we figure that all out. But today's first question is, Dr. Lacy, I feel like I'm falling so far behind in my dissertation. Everyone else seems to be moving forward, but I'm stuck and overwhelmed. How do I even start catching up? This is a very common question that I get, surprisingly. It's surprising to me because my brain goes, how do you know that you are behind? I want everybody to sit and think about this for a moment. How do you know that you are behind? Well, you might be saying, well, I'm the only one in my cohort that hasn't completed their exams, or I'm the only one who's still trying to finish their literature review, or everybody else has defended, and I'm the only one left in my whatever the thing is. And my question, I guess, after that is, so what? What does that mean? Something I ask students often is, what are we rushing to? Like, what are you rushing to? If your chair came to you today and was like, okay, go ahead and schedule your defense, what comes next? Like, are you ready for that? If you were to graduate tomorrow, what comes next? What are you rushing towards? Most of you, if you take a step back, you will realize that what you're rushing towards is relief. Because if you can get to graduation tomorrow, your brain will say, oh, I made it. That means I have what it took. That means that I didn't quit, or that means that I'm smart enough, or fill in whatever your voice is telling you. And what I want to offer you is, what if you can feel like that right now? What if you could feel smart enough, confident enough, sure enough today without having to rush towards graduation? That's one part of my answer to this. The other part of this is, what do you think the other people have that you don't have right now? Like, what is the story that you've been telling yourself about as to why they're more successful than you? Is it that they know more than you? Like, is it really that you think they're smarter than you? Because I really want you to sit back and think about the people who you're comparing yourself to. Is it that they're really smarter than you? Or you might say they're more disciplined than I am. And how do you know? In what ways are they more disciplined? I really want you to sit down and think about, what is it that they are doing that you feel like you can't do or you're not doing? Is it that they're waking up earlier? Is it that they're spending more time writing? Is it that they know more of the literature? Like, what is it that is helping them to have an edge over you? Is it that their chair is more involved? Like, what is the part of the story that you're telling yourself as to why they've moved faster than you? What are the reasons why you're stuck and overwhelmed? If you couldn't say things like, well, I just need to be more disciplined, or I need to stop being lazy, or what exactly do you need to do? Let's say right now you were your most disciplined, consistent version. What does that look like? You will hear me often say, if you are inside and finish your dissertation, if I had a camera following you, what would I be seeing you do if you were the consistent, disciplined version of you that you have in your head? Are you waking up a certain time? Do you feel a certain way when you sit down to write? What is that version of you? How do they handle setbacks or, the day got away from them and they were not able to show up to their writing session? How do they make decisions? Most of us will stop at, well, I just need to be consistent or I need to be disciplined. But you think that there's one way to be those things. And so you say it as if like, if I would just be consistent, then everything would be great. But what does that mean exactly? Your brain keeps ignoring your request to be consistent and disciplined because it doesn't know what that means. It doesn't know what that looks like. Any other things in the ways that it could be helpful for you to compare, since you're going to compare yourself to all these other people. Me asking you, what is it that you think they have or that they know or that they do that you don't, is so if you can list it out, you can get closer to getting those things. So if you think that, oh, they know the literature more than I do, okay, how many articles do you think they've read? Like if you had to put a number on it, how do you think, or how many articles do you think they read to get to a place where they seem like they know more than you? Is it 20? Is it 100? Is it 1,000 articles? Because if it's just a matter of you read 10 articles and they read 100, okay, well, go get you 90 more articles and read it. And then if your logic holds true, then you will know just as much as they do. Let's say you're like, well, they wake up earlier than me, so they have more time. Okay, then what do you need to do to wake up earlier so that you too could have more time? You might say, well, their chair is more involved and helps them. Okay, how do you get your chair to be more involved? How do you schedule more meetings with them? How do you give yourself enough time to carve out questions that you can ask them so that they can be more supportive of you? I'm asking you to stop being in a victim mindset, being like, oh, woe is me. They have something that I don't, and really use that beautiful, brilliant brain of yours and sit down and really ask yourself, what is it that I think that all these people have that I don't? And force yourself to come up with a granular, detailed answer. Because then if you do that, you will realize that most of the things that you're putting down on paper, it's an option for you as well. You just didn't have the time or the awareness to see that it's in front of you, that you have. Let me say that differently. If you sit down and do this work and answer these questions, and you'll realize that more things are in your control than not. But it is up to you to practice the courage to say, yes, I'll invest in those things, or I'll go after those things, or I'll do the work necessary to have those things. It's not about catching up to cohort members or other people in the program. It is about, what do you need to move forward? Where is it that you're trying to go? Like when you say I'm so far behind, let's start with like, where are we going? Like, when do you want to graduate? Is it May? Is it December? Is it 2 years from now? Okay. And then once you have a date, like you know where the finish line is, what does today have to do with that finish line? Where did you think you would be by today? Did you think you would have a literature review done? Did you think that you would be in the middle of data collection? Okay, what is stopping you? Like, why are you not at the place you thought you would be by today? What happened? Was work busy? Did you have a life event? Were you sick? Like, what are the real reasons as to why you're not where you thought you were going to be? And here's where I'll end you, or end this, is if those same things, if you had to relive the past 12 months, if the next 12 months were going to be exactly the way that the last 12 months were, what else do you need? What type of support do you need? What do you need to change in your environment? What habits do you need to strengthen in order to make the most of the 12 months, knowing that it's going to be the same way that it was, like the same things are going to happen the past 12 months, and it's the same with the 12 past months. Okay. What is going to happen in this next 12 months that you can plan for, you can prepare for? What habits do you need? What support do you need? What resources do you need? Because that is your roadmap. That is how you, quote unquote, begin to catch up, or quote unquote, get back on track of your timeline. Let me know if this was helpful and what your next steps are going to be, because accountability is how we're going to get there. All right, y'all. I will talk to you on the next episode.